And tell them it's sponsored by Surfy Shark.
This video is sponsored by Surfy Shark, the VPN protector.
What's a VPN?
It's a virtual private network. A VPN encrypts all the information on your device when you're looking at the internet or on the internet. It's got an internet somewhere. So it's really easy to use. It's on Netflix. Click at the icons at the top, change it to the country you want to view, and I watch American stuff. I'm still on Walking Dead. I'm about 4 series from the end. It's really easy to use, and also if you're on holiday and you're somewhere else, you can click it and watch Netflix back in the UK.
Or anywhere in the world.
Or anywhere in the world. You don't have to be in America. I don't know why it's in America. Your data is safe online because Surfshark don't track or store your data, so they're good like that and they always look after you. I love you, Surfshark. Use promo code Ben Pearson for 83% off and extra 3 months free. Protect yourself online from the cyber baddies. Big love, Surfshark. Keep safe, everyone. I'm a dick. Doormen in the early 2000s, around where I used to work, I'd say they were good, but they weren't as good as what they are now. There were some jobs where people get a bit of a slap, or getting thrown out, manhandled. There were a few doormen getting locked up because they were too heavy-handed. They were that sort of thing. So a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, I used to do a bit of work on a place called Maestro's in Bradford, under a lad called Jeff. And Jeff sort of told you how to be and how to approach people and how to be kind, because, well, let's be honest, drunks don't really want to know anything, do they? The drunks and they're idiots, and you can't tell them. People, I've always said, blokes don't want to be told they shit in bed, they can't drink, and they can't drive. So I'm shit at 2 of them, and I'm still not driving right well either. But they don't want to be told that they're drunk or whatever it is. So it's about having to talk to people politely. And it's like when we're in police and we're dealing with drunks, you've got to talk to people on a certain level. And I always used to give them a get out thing. Oh, you don't want to get locked up. Go for a curry or go for a shiny, go for a kebab, you know, do that and enjoy it out with your lads. And in the early 2000s, I don't think a lot of doormen dealt with things like that. I think there were a lot of, don't get me wrong, there's hundreds and thousands of great doormen. I remember where we used to work, there were a few that were really, really bad, and you'd be getting called to the same nightclubs, the same pubs, the same bars all the time. And they're just general, there were no chit-chat. It was literally, you're not coming in, throwing people out, throwing drunks out, and just being too heavy-handed. Since then, since sort of like 2005 onwards, the relationship and the reputation of the doormen around Bradford and around Keighley and Shipley and stuff, it's just been fantastic. They knew that things had to change, like with the police and organisations. You knew you've got to come forward, you knew you've got to change, you knew you've got to be more diverse with what you do. And they'd always be detaining people properly, they'd always be stop searching people properly on the way into the venues. If there were any drugs found, they'd ring us straight away. They'd stamp out fights before they even started, but not by physical violence. They'd be doing it by talking about education and things like that. They'd know the face of certain criminals, so they'd ring up and say, this person's just come in tonight, or this person's out and about on the streets. So they were really, really good. And I'll give you one instance. I don't know if I've told you about this, but I'll give you one instance like called Danny. So if you're watching Danny, he used to run the doors in a place called Bingley. And this is how good they were. So Danny was the manager of the security company, and they had all the pubs around Bingley at the doors. And I used to go drinking around there in a place called Suburban Bar. And it were a good place to go, and it were quite busy, you know what I mean, on a Friday and Saturday night. So sometimes I book off and I go drinking in there, and one of my best mates called Warren, and I would get quite drunk. And I remember one time I was drunk and I didn't know what was going on, which shouldn't really be happening as a bobby. And I'm stood probably like 10 feet from the door. Danny knows that I'm a police officer. I think they were like called Jason that worked on the door, and I can't remember what other lad were called. All of them were going really well with them, and it was just a nice place to be. And I'm drunk, and I remember like this lad banging into me, and I didn't think out of it because you're drunk and you're just not thinking straight. And I'm having a bit of a dance. I don't really dance like that, but I'm just having a bit of a dance, and kept on getting banged into more and more and more. And I saw a flash out the corner of my eye, and I didn't really know what that flash was. And then I had this massive surge behind me that threw me forward. When I turned round, the lad that had been banging into me was staring at me all night. He was just eyeing me up all night, and apparently I dealt with him in police. And he just kept on barging me and barging me. Danny and lads at the door had seen this happening and were watching and had been eyeing this lad up all night. And the flash, the spark or the flash that I saw caught my eye, where him smash a bottle or a glass, and it were all the glass fragments coming off, and he went to lunge it in my face, and it were only Danny and the lads that I'd seen, and when I got urged forward, pushed forward, it were Danny and everyone jumping on this lad, and they jumped on him, wrestled him to the floor, disarmed him and threw him out, and he got locked up. And if it weren't for Danny, I'd probably lost my sight, I'd probably been scarred all down my face. It's just not worth it. I was so drunk I didn't know what I was doing. So first of all, that was pointless. But the doorman were there to protect me. And if it weren't for them doing what they were doing and protecting me. So that's when I realised a different level. They're not thugs. The people that are working shifts like what we used to do, the people that are good at what they do communication-wise because they talk to people, and the people that care about you as well. They want you to have a good night because most of them are either dads, the brothers, the sisters, the mums, because there's a lot of female door people out there now, and they just want you to have a good night. They want their daughters to have a good night and their friends to have a good night. So all I can say about the door staff is it's been positive. So we go now drinking and say we'll go to Bingley or we'll go to Shipley or we'll go to Guiseley, Menston. All the door staff that we do come into contact with now, they're all literally so nice. Going to Leeds, they're so nice, they're so kind. They don't do that, "Noom's not down, you're not coming in anymore." They look at you and, you know what I mean, they have a chat with you. They realise what you're wearing. And I think the days wearing shoes and pants like Mike Baldwin's slacks and shirt and tie with, all those days are like gone, because you can wear bad clothes but be a nice person, you get let in, where before you didn't wear the certain dress, they won't let you in. Those days are gone now, because what they're doing is they're looking at you as a person, they're looking at you, who you're with and what your attitude is. And yeah, I think doormen are worth the weight in gold. I've got nothing bad to say about them, because they're just such a positive influence when you, and you feel safe. There's been loads of times when I've been out with some lads and I've across the pub there's been some dickheads that I've been dealing with, and I'm glad that they're there. Not that they jump in and it's a schoolyard fight, but I'm glad that they're there to deal with stuff, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about being in an environment where you're safe.
Do you think security staff as a whole get tarnished by a few bad eggs that there are existing in?
Yeah, because I think it's like police. I think it's the fact where they're given power, because yeah, that's what door staff are. If you think about it, they're not like the police, but they've been given power. And a lot of people, I mean, police have got to go through all this vetting to get where they get. Well, door staff have got to go through vetting as well, but you're still going to have nut jobs that come through. And when I say nut jobs, please don't think I'm being, because obviously with mental health as well, don't think I'm being bad for people with mental health. I mean, just idiots that have got hell bent on just causing trouble. People are always going to get through net, regardless of what you do, whether you're a celebrity, you're a government official, you work in Morrison's or whatever, there's people going to get through net regardless. Yeah, I do think they're tarnished, because a lot of them get tarnished to be a bully, but they're not. They're out there and obviously protect all younger clientele, vulnerable clientele, and to make sure you have a safe and good night. And I recently went out in Leeds just before Christmas, and I felt nothing but safe. I had no trouble with anyone. They were all very polite and very kind, and yeah, well, it was good to have them there. Well, I'll give you another. Can I name pubs?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I don't actually know what it's called, but it's in Newcastle and it's down by Quayside, and I think it's called Buffalo Jack's Buffalo Bar, and it's a bit like Coyote Ugly, or girls dance on bar halfway through, stop a song and they all do this, but then blokes get on and dance on bar. And I went with my brother, and this war, like I said, this war about 2004, 2005, and I've never been as scared in my life. Like I said, the whole door staff were like, literally, and if you work there now, and it's nice, I apologise, if people are watching this in Newcastle and they know where it is, and it's nice, but all the door staff are like pumped up bodybuilders, bare knuckle brawl, proper fighters, and it will literally, as soon as a fight broke out wherever it was, they won't come up and detain and lock and hold and take out and evict. They'd just come up and join in. And it was like, there were fucking balls getting thrown, and me and my brother, I'll tell you about this bit in a second with me and my brother, but they were like brawling. There were two blokes that sat brawling, and next thing you know, there was six brawling. But when you looked at the six, they all had like black and white tops on, and like it was just like an excuse for them to get in and brawl. But there were two girls who were an exit, and they got two stairs going down. So if you know the bar, you know where I'm on about. And two stairs going down, and me and my brother were talking. There were two girls outside of us, and they were just talking. One, we didn't know them, one or two of them, but the fight started, and all the door staff pulled all these blokes outside, and they got caught in the melee. And this girl fell down two stairs, but she just fell down. My brother put his arm out, and my brother's a big lad, and he pulled her in. I then put my arm around this other girl and my brother. So we rode onto the railing, and me and my brother had his arms around these two girls, and there were these fists coming over the top of his heads. There were people. There were even people that weren't getting involved for the sake of getting involved, and it was. I think there were only 3 people fighting, but by the time they come out the door, there must have been 15, 16, 17 people all getting pushed out, evicted, getting punched in the face, and the majority of them were the door staff, and it was bedlam. And then when they all said and done, doors closed, me and my brother stuck with these 2 girls, and obviously they said thank you and stuff, and I was fucking checking, and I was a bobby. But I was like, it was so violent and fierce, but it was second, it was a spark, it went bang, and it had ended. And then you just saw door staff coming in front door again, and then you could see some outside brawling. And I just thought, that is not the way out to do stuff. But I've got to admit, every action deserves a reaction. They might only be like that because of the violence that's in Newcastle. But then when you come up from Yorkshire, you think sometimes Yorkshire might be a bit rough. And you go up there and you think, like, even from a police point of view, I thought, that's just too much, that shouldn't be happening in a bar. That were probably like bare knuckle boxing, that were completely out of order. So if you're in that pub, and you know that pub or whatever it is, Buffalo Joe or whatever it is called, you know, that's what it was like. So if you've been in there recently and it's not like that, fine, but if you've been in there now, just let me know. But yeah, it was completely and utterly, there's no thoughts, because, and one last thing as well, without drawing on about this, people don't realise that the amount of jobs we've dealt with where a one punch can lead to a fatal event. It's ridiculous, and if you don't realise that you can punch one person, all they need to do is fall over and hit their head. As soon as they hit their head funnily, and they're dead, that's it. So we dealt with a fatal collision where a cyclist was just edging out of a junction, and he had his feet in his, I want to say stirrups, but they're not stirrups, what are they called? Toe pegs, or whatever they call. He had his feet in them, he's just edging out, so he won't go in any speed. Van's just tapped him, and he's gone over, and he's hit his head. He's died at scene instantly. So you don't have to hit someone hard. It's not about how hard you hit someone. It's just them falling in their head. And if people don't realise that and they're just brawling, it's a matter of time before people just die. And life's too important for shit like that, isn't it?